Hi, and welcome to today's lecture. Today I'm going to be talking about water pollution, why it's important, and why I'm up here talking about it. So, to start off, humans add 1.3 trillion gallons of wastewater per year to our oceans, according to globewater.org. That seems like a lot, and it's kind of ridiculous that a lot of people don't know about it. So, I just wanted you to know that as a beachgoer and as someone that enjoys the ocean as much as I do, this means a lot to me. To go out to the beach and want to see crystal clear waters and go out and see mucky brown water where I can't even see my toes kind of makes me upset and makes me wish that the world's famous beach was as famous as it actually is. So with the beach and the water, like I said, being so important to me, I drink water a lot a day, so that's another reason why this is important. But the beach is so close to me and I like to enjoy it every once in a while. And for it to not be clear all the time and knowing that there's people that contribute to this sickness kind of makes me upset. It makes me wish that people would care more about it, or at least educate themselves about it. So, as you can see here, I have a picture showing a couple of fish that are just lying in the water, dead because of either contamination or pollution or any type of, force that allows them to die in their own place of habitat. So, the goal of this is to prevent the pollution of water to get worse than it actually is, or to make it a little better, hence. Because if it keeps growing and growing as it is, it's only going to get worse from here. So why is water pollution so important on a global aspect? Well, there's a lot of countries that don't realize how much they contribute to the pollution of water or the pollution of air. So I just wanted to show you a figure. Farm runoff contributes to 20%, but the majority of it comes from sewage. So, you know that icky smell you get sometimes? That's probably where this is coming from. It's one person's sewage. So, we need to create a solution to these problems and make sure that in the future this gets better, not worse, because it's only downhill from here if we don't make an impact. So, pollution is a global issue for many reasons. All countries share the same water, meaning that if on one side of the world it's dirty, on the other side in a few weeks it'll probably get dirty because the water flows to the same place. So the lack of knowledge is the target that I'm trying to get at today, is to educate you to go out and make sure that you know more about the water. Make sure you know more about why we care so much about the water and how it's important. So, as stated, some 80% of water, the world's wastewater, is dumped back into the ocean, not even being known that it's being dumped back in without any type of help or any type of filtering out or protection against its ocean. And that's according to the NRDC. So that's coming from lakes, rivers, pools, it's coming from all that. It's being thrown back into the ocean. And then in other words, another fact that I wanted to throw out to keep you in mind is less than 1% of Earth's fresh water is actually accessible to us, meaning that the other 99% is not fresh water, meaning it could be either polluted water or salt water. So this will cause future problems if we don't tighten up and make sure that we get right soon. Because with this, it's only going to get worse from here. So, to prevent this, people should know about the amount of pollution they cause per year. Instead of making it worse, find ways to help out. So, I wanted to let you guys know that in developing countries, 90% of wastewater and 70% of industrial waste is discharged without treatment, according to the World Oceans Network. With this statistic, it kind of makes you wonder what percent of the water is actually clean when they drink. What percent of the water do they know is not so pretty? So with this developing information, we need to create a revolutionary system to prevent more water from being wasted and make sure that we can drink clean water. So the preservation of our water is important to make sure that the world lasts for many more years. Given that the earth is 75% water, give or take a few percent, we should make sure that that 75% stays 75% fresh or salt, not 75% polluted water or 75% contaminated water. So when an oil spill occurs, as you can see in this picture, you can see that, the water looks pretty, but what's the outcome of it? Millions of fish are being killed a day. The water we drink is not as clear as we think. And by paying attention to this and realizing that, some of the fossil networks that we're using really are not helping us out, we can realize that fossil fuels need to be used in a different way. So I wanted to give you a little example of when I took a trip to the Keys and how bad it was for me. When I went, I expected to see crystal clear water. But what did I end up seeing? mucky brown water with seaweed all over the place, which was caused by contamination of an oil spill that I was not informed about. So the practice of informing yourself is just to educate and make sure that you know why the water is so important and how it can be beneficial. So, like I said earlier about the filtration, we need to make sure that we filter the amount of water that we're throwing back into the ocean or into our springs, because I'm not sure about you, but I sure don't want to be drinking this kind of water in the near future. That just looks like very unhealthy water. So, we can include different ways of filtering it out. Right here you can see people have already invested in nets to go into sewage pipes to prevent the amount of flow of trash into the oceans. And then we have the new one, which is a CWA, and they have found a way to put a vessel on the water, in the rivers or in lakes or any type of channels or anything like that to prevent the amount of trash going back into the ocean. The CWA, as I said, was the Clean Water Act, created this here vessel to make sure that, like I said, they continue to have clean water so it doesn't get too contaminated with trash. So they're trying to limit the amount of output from trash from lakes and rivers back into the ocean according to the Environmental Protection Agency. So, water vessels have their own issues in themselves between their oil, between the gas that they outpour, and between the type of destruction they do into the ocean themselves without knowing. That's not their fault. It's just a simple act of educating yourself on why it's important to make sure that you know what's going on every day when you go on a boat or when you enjoy a cruise ship or something like that. So the nets provide an all-in-out barrier against any type of trash or anything like that. And then they go in and they replace it after maybe 6 months and make sure that they put new nets in to catch it all back in. So on the other hand, it's not all sunshines and rainbows. There is some negatives about this. So specifically in the United States, it could be an increase in the amount of tax dollars that one has to pay at the end of the year if they were to invest in something like this, which would cause a lot of people to be very unhappy with it. So these so-called solutions could cause outpour because maybe some parts of the world can't afford it, and that's not going to be something that the world provides for them. Each country will have to provide for themselves for it, which might cause a civil war in one's own country. You never know. So cleaner waters will bring the best of the world and preserve our oceans and preserve our lakes and preserve anything that we need to make sure that in a few years we still have clean drinking water and we aren't drinking this water, because that could really be something very determined and could kill people within a few years. So taking care of the ocean benefits everybody in the world, no matter where you live, no matter how far you are from the water, no matter if you drink hot water, cold water, what you drink, the water is always something that we need. Whether you're pumping it out of a well, whether it's given to you directly from the spring. Water is everywhere, and since the humans are made up of water, it's very important to make sure you keep up with the amount of water. So it would benefit everybody because everybody shares the same ocean. Everybody shares, although they call it different oceans, it's all the same water to everybody. So, like I said earlier, maybe there's pollution in Asia that's going to drift over to the United States at some point. All in all, we all share the same water. So this process will really bring out the best in us to make sure that in a few years we have cleaner waters, we're able to swim in it and enjoy it, and we're not stuck in the Keys in mucky brown water. It's not fun, I can tell you firsthand. So Storm X, which was this project right here, which is capturing all the trash, has already been implanted across the world and is soon to be taking over in other different aspects. The other one, on the other hand, it's not so popular. It's mainly in Europe, but hopefully we can bring it to the United States soon. So the world would benefit in many ways. Cleaner water to drink, cleaner water to swim in, and cleaner water to enjoy when you're taking a shower. So I ask you, do you want to stand with me on this to make sure that we have cleaner water in a few years? Or would you rather go back to drinking this water on a daily basis? Or when you go to the ocean, seeing this rather than seeing fish swimming around? And I'll leave you on this. Would you rather eat fish that's dead like this, contaminated, or fresh fish that can actually be good for you? So the fact that pollution is inevitable, no matter what. So we can only come together as one or be separate and allow the world to come down. So now I ask you, are you with me?